Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, the presentation is about to begin. First, I want to say thank you for our lecturer of Morphology and Syntax course, Honorable Mr. Dhafid Wahyu Utomo, for the opportunity to give a presentation in a morphology class. Now, let me start the presentation. Before the presentation begins, let me to introduce myself. My name is Nurul Fadilah, and I will act as the moderator of this presentation. Allow me to introduce my teammates of Group 3. Here we have Rijal Abdillah Tsani, Nur Addiena Kamila, Meilani Luthfiyyah Wijaya, me, Nurul Fadilah, and Meisya. And now, without further ado, Rijal will explain to you about blending material. For Rijal, time is yours.
Thank you, Nani, for giving me the time to explain the material. Blending is the process of forming words by combining word parts. In blending, you sound or phoneme and combine it with the next sound or phoneme. If a word of a word to form the word itself to create a new word with a new meaning. For example, like smog from smoke and fog, and brunch from breakfast and lunch. These are examples of blends. So there are many types of blends based on how they are formed. Aljo, a linguist, proposed dividing blends into three groups. The first is phonemic overlap. A syllable or part of a syllable is shared between two words. The second is clipping, where the shortening of two words and then compounding theme. And third and the last is phonemic overlap and clipping, where which is shortening of two words to shared syllable and then compounding. However, classification of types blend is not standard among all linguists. There are different ways of creating word blends. One way is to combine portions of two other words to make a new one. These word fragments are called morphemes, the smallest unit of meaning in a language. For example, the word camcorder combines parts of camera and recorder. Word blends can also be created by joining a full word with a portion of another word, which is called a splinter. For example, the word motorcade combines motor plus a portion of cavalcade. Next slide, please. Blends of two or more words may be classified from each of three viewpoints: morphotactic, morphonological, and morphosemantic. Morphotactic classification blends may be classified morphotactically into two kinds: total and partial. Total blends in a total blend, each of the words creating the blend is reduced to a mere splinter. Some linguists limit blends to this, and perhaps with additional conditions. For example, Ingoplag considers proper blends to be a total blends that semantically are coordinate and the remainder being shortened compounds. Next, please. Morphosemantic classification uh, are divided into two. The first is attributive blends, also called syntactic or telescope blends, are those in which one of the ingredients is the head and the other is attributive. For example, a portalite is a portable light, not a light emitting or light portability. Light is the head, and another example is a snobject. is a snobbery satisfying object, not an objective or other kind of snob. This word, object is the head. For coordinate blends, which is also called associative or portmanteau blends, combine two words having equal status and have two heads. Thus, brunch is neither a breakfast till lunch nor a lunchtime breakfast, but instead some hybrid of breakfast and lunch. Another example is Oxbridge is equally Oxford and Cambridge universities. These two parallels conventional non-blend compounds. Uh, an actor-director is equally an actor and director, a director. Next slide, please. Commonly for English blends, the beginning of one word is followed by the end of another. For example, boom plus hoist is boost. Breakfast plus lunch is brunch. And much less commonly in English, the beginning of one word may be followed by the beginning of another. For example, teleprinter plus exchange is blend telex. American plus Indian blends into American. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Well, some linguists do not regard beginning plus beginning concatenations as blends, instead calling them complex clippings, clipping compounds, or clipped compounds. Unusually in English, the end of one word may be followed by the end of another. For example, Red Bull plus Margarita blends into Margarita, then Hello Kitty plus Delicious blends into Kittylicious. A splinter of one word may replace part of another, as in trick coined by Lewis Carroll in Jabberwocky. For example, Chuckle plus Snort blends into Chortle, Flimsy plus Miserable blends into Mimsy, and Slimy plus Light blends into Slit. They are sometimes termed intercalative blends. These words are among the original portmanteaus for which this meaning of the word was created. Okay, thank you. I think that's all that I can explain about this material. And back to you, Noni.
Okay, thank you for the material that you presented. Finally, we arrive at the end of our presentation. We would like to say thank you again to Rijal as speakers of Group 3 for the informative and great analysis. Also, thank you for our member of Group 3. I really appreciated that. Hopefully, the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Uh, Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry if I make a mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.